What's so oppressive about this and this? What about this? And this. Have you ever took a moment and really thought about this very popular narrative about gender roles being oppressive and limiting? I know I fell for it, especially during my college days. I know I fell for the lies and the misinformation about gender roles. When I was in school, I thought I was pursuing a degree in education, but little did I know I was actually being subtly indoctrinated. After I graduated and years later, I realized that public schooling or university education, just depending on the school and everything, is actually indoctrination, not education. If you simply just go online and just look up gender roles, you will see so much hate, deception, misinformation, just an overall dismissal of gender roles for some reason. You will see how there are so many people out there that will label them as a social construct, inherently evil, very limiting, lack of freedom, unnecessary, and there's no true equality with gender roles. Just go online, pull your phone out or your computer and just look it up, and you will see the amount of hate that gender roles get. And I often wonder why. Can someone explain why? Like, why? What is so bad about following a role? We follow roles in life naturally. We have the role of teachers, the role of professor, the role of children. They're supposed to obey, listen to their parents. We have the role of cashiers and bank tellers, and the role of church leaders, and the roles of electricians and plumbers and whatever. When it comes to roles in marriage and in the church, it's very questionable, and it's cutthroat, and it's arguing, and it's challenging, and it's considered a construct and evil. Like, why? Can someone explain why? According to the world's standards, gender roles are considered oppressive. The world believes equality is necessary to bring freedom and sameness to both male and female. The world, or mankind, has always pursued redefining what gender is for both male and female. It wasn't until I got married and started embracing my role as a wife and got more deeply rooted in my femininity was when I truly started to understand the purpose and truth behind gender roles. Come with me on a little walk. It's pretty nice out. It's warm, it's lovely, it's green. It's a bit cloudy, but it's still beautiful. The word oppression gets tossed around a lot in our modern day culture, and I just don't subscribe to the whole women were oppressed back then narrative. I just don't subscribe to it because it just seems like it's a label, or it's just deception to get women to not pursue or to feel content in their role as woman. And it's to also, let's just say, devalue femininity. Because if you tell women that they've always been oppressed in marriage and in homemaking, why would you want to be a part of that? Why would you want to associate yourself with something like that, like homemaking and marriage and gender roles? This is Satan's plan to get women away from their God-ordained role of femininity, marriage, gender roles within the church, and marriage. You see through it clearly. I see through it clearly. I can just see it. But there was once a time where I didn't understand this either. In my 20s, I used to defy gender roles. I didn't understand the true meaning behind gender roles, what it meant, the purpose, or anything. I didn't care about the Bible. I didn't care about God's ways or anything. You're looking at someone who's been renewed. I have a new spirit. I've been born again of the Spirit. I can now see these things a lot clearly. The more mankind pushes God away out the center of humanity, the more perverted and twisted and misinformed the creations of marriage and gender roles and femininity and masculinity will be. And as a result of that, all this fight for equality and fight for rights and fight for freedom and choice and all these, ooh, sorry, all these things that come with equality is just man's way of trying to figure out his own freedom. And the thing is that God already created freedom for us. He created peace, he created comfort, he created quality already. You open up the Bible, right there in the book of Genesis, he starts it off. Um, he created the male and female. So it is so beautiful. So beautiful. So God created all of this, right? God is the author of creation. There's lots of comfort, there's lots of peace found in gender roles. Mankind, apart from God, likes to do his own thing, figure out his own way, set his own morals, set his own standard, do things through his own will, his own truth, and that's not how God created us. We were designed to follow God's order, his authority, because God knows what's good for us. He knows what's good for man, he knows what's good for woman. This is why he created roles in marriage and in the church, for us to be organized and ordered and to have that stability. We can see now in the world today, especially in modern day America, there's so much disorganization. People are confused, people are lost, people are more depressed, people are just not knowing their manhood or womanhood. It's a mess nowadays. Today's kind of messy. Look back in the old days, it was more ordered, right? It was more um, succinct because men were men and women were women. They knew their role despite the negative culture that was happening, or crazy things happening out in the world should not stop you from still embracing marriage, your role, your femininity and masculinity. I just don't subscribe to this whole equality and fight for rights. God gave us rights already. I don't need to try to find my right out in the world through feminism or a social movement. You will always keep fighting for a very long time. Feminists, it will never be content. It's always going to keep trying to find reasons to be equal with men because it's not content. It's always going to keep trying to find reasons to want to, be happy and to find that happiness or that opportunity with what men are doing or opportunities among men. And it's just, it's getting messy. Last but not least, I just want to say, in regards to me embracing and trying gender roles after I got married, I just realized the reality of my role as wife and being a homemaker and understanding and realizing the role of my husband and what it really means to be married. The thing is that once you do get married and you do settle down, you start to see how the roles kind of naturally play out. In reality, it's different than what culture says. And I know TV shows, movies, Hollywood, celebrities, social media, websites, and political leaders will tell you different. They will tell you that gender roles are terrible, that they're bad, that they're harmful to society, that there's no freedom, that they're inherently evil, all this nonsense about gender roles, which it's once you start to experience it, you will start to see all the wonderful blessings and freedoms that comes with it. And it's hard to explain because it is an experience. The work that I'm doing as a wife and a homemaker is similar to the same work that women did in early America and in history. It's just today we have different appliances, different technology, conveniences and tools to use to help us in our homemaking. That's the only difference. But women back then, they raised children, they took care of their homes, they managed the home. There's a lot that goes with managing a home. They let their husbands lead as the leader of the household. This is not oppression. There's freedom in that because if he's leading and providing, it allows me to manage the home and to have security and stability. So it's like complementary. I'm not oppressed. I'm not a victim either. Ultimately, they're calling God's ways oppressive. Apart from God, that's what it's going to be. There's going to be rejection of God's designs and God's creations. There's so much more I can say on the topic of gender roles. It's such a huge topic to cover. I do plan on making way more videos and vlogs on this topic. If you feel like you want to add to this conversation, drop a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit the like button down below. Until next time, bye guys.